here's what we got on the bench today. And this is going to be a multi-faceted repair. I won't be able to finish the repair today, but we can do the teardown. So saw, they said it would run but shut off. So I thought I was losing some spark. I fired it up and it seemed to sit there and idle just fine, and goosed it, and it fell flat on its face when I let off the trigger. So I set it up for a vacuum and pressure test. I've got just a couple of pounds of pressure left on here, but I mean, hell, I had to pump it up to almost 10 feet. I think 7's plenty, but this is a super slow air leak, and that in itself is enough to make this thing run like crap. Let me put this thing back together, or at least get the starter back on it, the flywheel, and just show you what this runs like. But curiously, when I started, I'm at the tree company today, so this was one of the first rebuilds, full rebuilds I did when I started working here. So, like, 6 or 7 years ago, I put a Meteor top end on this, and be interested to see how this looks. And then you'll also be able to see when I pull this off how good and how clean the AMSOIL Saber runs. Now, here's the sticking point. It's a 660. It doesn't get used every day, but it gets used a lot. Anyway, let's tear this thing down and see what we got inside. Did the exact same thing last time before I did the vacuum and pressure test. Typically you'll see these where it'll start to idle up for a few seconds and then finally fall on its face. And I definitely get the abrupt, it shuts off. So that's curious. Yeah, I did test the coil and ran it for a while, and I was getting good hot spark from it. So we'll leave it up to that air leak. And by the way, that was the only air leak. Even the decomp button, for some strange reason, wasn't leaking. But I think given the time it's been since I built this saw, we'll probably tear it down, do bearings, seals, and gaskets, and do it correct. But let's pull this Meteor cylinder off and see what it looks like on the inside. Okay, memory serves correct. I had to make a custom gasket for this. So if it's ugly, then just excuse that. I remember checking the squish on it, and it was a little much. There's Saber for you. Telling you guys, I'm not an AMSOIL fan, but Jesus, man, you just can't argue with this. I mean, it just burns too clean. Look in there. A nice film of oil on the crank. A little tiny bit of coking, but my God, man, this saw's been in service for years, and I have not been inside this. Little motor seal on there, probably a paper gasket. Let's have a look at the combustion chamber. And this was on my bench a while back, and maybe I tried to tune around a small air leak, and it kind of came correct. And just with air leaks, it's get a little light on this. How's that? Take a look at the exhaust port. You probably won't find diddly squat in here as well. There's no carbon buildup whatsoever. Just some light discoloration. All that's just say what you want, run what you want. You are not going to find a better two-stroke oil than Saber. So, to be continued. I'm going to put the rest of the saw in the box, order some parts, and do another rebuild. Anyway, thanks for staying with me. Hope you enjoyed this. And throw me a like, subscribe, share this video if you found it interesting.